Hi, my name is Alex and I'm doing the Snowdonia 50K. This event is part of the UTMB World Series. It's 55 kilometers and 3,300 meters of elevation gain. It is in the UK, in Snowdon. Why I decided to do this race is because it is a very challenging race. Is reputed to be the most difficult 50k in Europe, even more challenging than OCC. And secondly, it is in Wales, which is not far from where my mom stays. So I can go and visit my mom and also bring Esther to visit my mom in the UK. Training for this race has not been very smooth because since my last race in Hong Kong, the Lantau 70, I was down with COVID, so I couldn't train much for 2 weeks. Then after that, I'm left with 4 weeks to get into the full swing of training. And this block is a little bit different approach. I'm doing more strength work to work on my quads for the uphills and all the downhill climbing that's expected in Snowdonia. I'm more disciplined in hitting the gym and also started to do some CrossFit work, right, to build my overall strength. Overall, I'm really excited for this race because it is a very tough race in Europe and looking forward to it.
So if you're okay with this kind of job, the way he does it, is that cool? We can collaborate on this and I can have it already, rather than me fixing it there, it can already be done that way. So my cobbler doesn't look at...
So with function, that's box, this one
I think
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Yeah.
Head 1, 3, dive, 1.
Should be in that start area.
Okay, Sharon, we have now 1 minute to go before the start of the next wave here. Wave number 2 at the UTS Ultra Trail Snowdonia Eruari by UTMB. How you're feeling that front line? Who's feeling ready for it? Are you all ready for it? This is what we want. We're here in Llanberis in Snowdonia. This is your time. This is all for you. How are you all feeling out there, audience? You ready for this? This is what we want. We are into the last 30 seconds before the time of the start of wave 2. Believe, live your dreams, and good luck. Sharon, let's get ready to go.
3,000 meters of elevation, guys, and hours of enjoyment in the absolute beautiful
The UTS 50 race course consists of 4 major climbs with an aid station between each. Soon after the start, we start climbing up Snowdon for our first climb via the Llanberis path. This is the most gentle and runnable climb in the whole course, but of course I didn't run as it was still early in the race. 2 days before I have explored Snowdon on the same path, so everything looks and feels familiar. Although not my first time here, the views were still as breathtaking.
This is the first climb up to Snowdon. After we'll come down and we'll go up Snowdon again.
About 1k from the summit, we make a sharp left turn to Peak Track. This is a highly technical path with lots of down climbing to do. Highly recommend to keep it slow and safe. While descending, you'll get to enjoy the beautiful view of the lakes and valleys in front of you. But at the same time, you also have to focus on where you're stepping, otherwise you can just sprain an ankle and that's the end.
Thank you.
After descending Snowdon, you get to your first aid station. There's no food supplies in this station, so I just refill my water and coke and left in a few minutes. I had done some research and found that there were some mountain streams during this segment, so I got myself a Solomon soft flask with filtration so I could refill water from the streams. The water was nice and cold, perfect for a hot day like this. The benefit is also psychological, as knowing your flasks are full boosts your confidence and morale while tackling arguably the hardest part of the course. The second climb on Snowdon was many times harder than the first, partly due to the much more rocky and technical terrain, but also by now the sun was beating down on us and we were exposed throughout the climb. When I hiked Snowdon 2 days before, the Summit Cafe was closed and I was told it will only open in a week's time. However, when we get to the summit, I was very pleasantly surprised that it was open.
So after spending some time in the cafe, where we need to queue up and get the drinks, I'm now chasing cutoff. Less than 1 hour to checkpoint 2. So yeah, gotta hurry.
The second aid station was where you could get food. However, I didn't see anything that I liked, so I only took some Oreos and left. By now it was past 3 PM. I expected the temperature to drop little, but the sun was still blazing at 100%. And this segment I felt really dehydrated and wanted to withdraw at the next station. Finally, I got to the third aid station and feeling totally dehydrated. I drank 1 liter of plain water and after 10 minutes of rest, I finally felt revived and ready to push to the finish. By then it was past 6 PM and the temperature had dropped a few degrees. We had 1 more hill to climb, although not the biggest, but we were all exhausted by earlier exertions. The peaceful view of the Welsh countryside and knowing that the end is nearing were the major factors pushing me along. After the final climb, it was finally a gentle downhill all the way to finish on very runnable surface. I was glad I saved my legs for the final segment and I could run without pain. I was still on target for my B goal, which is to finish within 13 hours, and I really went for it.
Well done, boys. Emotional finish line, and here is
Well done, guys. Well done, Thomas.
Eventually, I finished the race in 12 hours 51 minutes, achieved a sub 13 hours. This was 3 minutes slower than my time at the Lantau 70, which was 7k longer, which just shows how brutal this race was.
So things that went well for this race, definitely one of it was to be able to run pain-free for the last 5 kilometers and also all the downhills. I will attribute this improvement to having more regular strength training in the last few weeks and also hitting the gym more. Things that didn't go well, firstly, didn't have enough water, especially for those segments with 3 to 4 hours in between the checkpoints. And also, I made a noob mistake of leaving my race shoes at home, but I brought along my Nike Trail 4 Gore-Tex, which worked really well in these technical conditions. So the Gore-Tex upper really kept my feet dry. So overall, I'm quite pleased with my performance in the UTS 50. For completing such a notoriously tough race and also for pushing hard to achieve my B goal. See you next time.